Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, your go-to spot for all technologies, especially Salesforce, data visualization, and many more. Today, we are diving into valuable skills for Salesforce admin and developers, especially developers, how to display an image in Lightning Web Components. So if you are looking to enhance the visual appeal of your Salesforce Lightning Web components with custom icons or graphics, then this tutorial is for you. Don't miss this video and watch this video till end to get valuable knowledge on how to display SVG images on Lightning Web components. In this video, in this tutorial, we will be going to cover everything from understanding the benefits of SVG images, embed them into LWCs. There are different ways to add SVG icons on LWC components. So we will be going to cover both the things. This tutorial will be in two parts. In first part, we'll be going to see what are the different ways to embed an SVG icon on a Lightning Web component. And in part two, we will be going to discuss that how do we add how do we add a dynamic or dynamic image on dynamic SVG images on Lightning Web components. So by the end of this video, you will be able to add high quality SVG images to your Salesforce component, making your UI more interactive and visually appealing. So let's get started on making the Lightning Web component stand out and adding an SVG icons. And yes, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you are always in the loop with the latest in technology. So first of all, let me tell you about the objective of this video. What's the objective? So the objective of this video is to guide the Salesforce developers on how to effectively embed and display SVG images. SVG basically scalable vector graphic images with Lightning Web components. So SVG images are ideal for high quality responsive icons and graphics, especially when styling or animations are required. So as I mentioned in the part two of this video series, we'll be going to see how do we add an animated SVG icon. But in this one, we'll be going to see how do we add a static SVG icon on a Lightning Web component. So this is the objective. Let me quickly tell you the business requirements. So as a business, we want to enhance our Salesforce UI by incorporating custom icons and graphics in the Lightning Web component to improve the user experience. Especially, we need to display a set of SVG images, icons representing different products, different categories, and to display interactive graphics in our LWC dashboards. So in this tutorial, we will be going to see there would be two methods to add an SVG icon on a Lightning Web component. The first method is you can add SVG directly to your component's HTML template, or we can upload the SVG resource as a static resource, and then we can import it in the LWC components JavaScript files and add reference to the fields in HTML template. So if you have any doubts, I would be referring to the official tutorial of Salesforce. I will share the link in the description below. So if you want, you can follow that. You can follow that link. So let's begin and we'll see how do we add an SVG directly to the component HTML templates. So we'll be going to see both the methods one by one. And first of all, I will be going to see the first method where we'll be going to add or display SVG icon directly on an HTML template on Lightning Web component. So let me show the final output. What will be the output? How does it looks like? First of all, so here is my Salesforce org, and as you can see, here I have displayed an image. This is an SVG icon. But this SVG icon, first in order to display this SVG icon, I use the method two, where I uploaded this SVG icon in a static resource in Salesforce, and then I will be displaying here. But I will show you both the methods one by one. So let's proceed, and I'll get back to my Visual Studio, and I will be going to create a Lightning web component, and let's say SVG LWC CMP1. I'll give the name of my component. Okay, that's the name of my component. I set the name, and here, first of all, in meta XML, I set this to true, and I'm going to set the targets. So I set the targets for Lightning app page and Lightning home page. Now, we are not going to do anything with the JavaScript. We will be directly working on HTML part. And in order to place a SVG icon directly on HTML, what we need to do is we need to place the code directly on HTML. And for this, what we'll do, I just copy paste the code which I have already tested and which I will be following from the Salesforce official document. And this is the code I included in my SVG directly on my HTML. Let me do one thing. Let me embed this in a Lightning card. Let me make it more customized, actually, Lightning card. And I will be going to embed this SVG icon inside this Lightning card within a division. And here it is going to display an icon. So let's save this, deploy this component. I'm going to deploy this component and let's see the result. Let's check the result. Let's check the output. So I'll click on edit page and I will be going to place that component here. And the component name is SVG LWC CMP1. So SVG LWC CMP1, and I drag and drop this component here and save this and back. So you can see that's the way we can embed an SVG icon or SVG text directly on HTML in Lightning web component. That's what I did here. If you want to do customization, it's possible because the text which is coming up over there, which is showing SVG, that can be replaced here. Instead of SVG, let me replace with this with AI Tech 1. Save this and deploy this again as a customization as on the requirement. And let's get back, refresh and test it. So this is first method in order to display, in order to embed SVG text directly on HTML. So what we did here, we add the SVG resource directly on an HTML template in a Lightning web component. Now we'll be following the second method, and the second method is we will be going to import an SVG resource as a static resource. So first of all, we need to download an SVG file. And in order to download an SVG file, I will be following a library here. I will share the description of this library in the description below the URL. This icon scout, you can use this, sign up here and look for SVG icons. As you can see, I'm looking for icons here. So we have icons. I just search for icons and you can check for SVG icons. We have premium, free and all. So I'm just looking for free. And then in order, because I wanted to show the Salesforce one, so therefore I have searched only for Salesforce. I just type in Salesforce. Now, what sort of icon you want to download? So you have to check the download, you have to check the icons. And whenever you click on any of the icon, let's suppose I want this icon, I click on the icon. And before downloading this icon, you will get an option called download icon. But before downloading this icon, I just wanted to check the information. It says 25006. So that means this icon will be very big. And when we place this icon, SVG icon on our component, it will be very big. The size will be pretty big. So let me check a small icon, more information. This icon is perfect, 60 by 60. It's a very small icon. So I would like to display this SVG icon because as you know that when we want to display an icon, we don't want the huge icons. We want small icons. So I will be going for this icon. So let me download this icon and I'm going to download this as an SVG. So we have different ways, ICO, EPS, PDF for printing purpose, but I'm going for SVG. And I'm going to download this icon, an SVG one. So basically we have to, now as you can see, if it's a paid one, so do one thing, go for free download. So it says, see, there are two methods, download with icons, icon scout subscription. I don't want to go with this one. I say free download with attribution. So I say SVG, and it will allow you to download this file. So I'm going to download this on my desktop, and the label set as, let's say, SFDC cloud, and the file extension is SVG file. So this file get downloaded on my desktop. I'm going to save this file on my desktop. So this SVG icon downloaded successfully. Now, this is the first step we have done in order to display an SVG icon by using static resource. Now, the next step is we need to upload this icon in our Salesforce within static resource. So I just navigate to setup. And in this setup, I search for static resource. And in static resources, click on new. Now, the file which I downloaded, that file name was, what was the file name? Let me check the file name. The file name was SFDC cloud. So I'm going to give the same name, or the best way to check the name. Actually, what I'm trying to do is I need to give the name. So I prefer to give the same name as we have an image. So let me open this image first. This is the SFDC cloud.svg image. And what I'll do, I just wanted to, because this is the name which I gave, but what is the exactly name or the ID given to this icon? So I right click on this, inspect, and I'm going to check the ID for this image. And the ID for this image is cloud analysis. So this is the ID. So I will be following this ID. I copy this ID and I'll give the name same as this ID, because this ID we will be going to use as a reference in Lightning Web Component. Choose file, and let me upload this file from my desktop, SFDC cloud. I'll make it public and save. Okay, it does not, it does, okay, that's a naming convention. So this is something we have to take care of. So I'll just rename it as a cloud_analysis, and we'll be going to check this. So I'll just rename this as a cloud_analysis. And now let's rewrite the code in order to display an image on a Lightning Web Component. So therefore, first of all, I will remove the existing one. Or let's do one thing. Let's add one more division, and in this division we will be going to display the code in order to display an image directly from there. So I will be using the SVG resource. So I will be going to write the SVG code. So that's the SVG code I typed in. And as you can see, SVG version, base profile full width and height, XML NS. Here is the ID we need to give. So the ID will be same as what we give over there. And also, yeah. So, right, this SVG is fine. Yeah, so this SVG is fine, but we need to name that as a logo. So this is the logo actually, but instead of logo, it seems this is the same one. Great. 1 second. I think this is the same one. 1 second. Let me copy the code. Okay, let me copy code and paste it. We'll rename that. Yeah, so we have the ID as logo. And here we need to give the ID what we gave in our Salesforce platform. So here we need to add the name of this. So cloud_analysis. And this is the name which I'm going to pass here, cloud_analysis. But only this is not going to work. We need to do a customization in JavaScript. So the next step is what we have done. We have uploaded the SVG resource to the org as a static resource, step number 1. Step number 2, we have added the SVG file. We have embedded the SVG code in HTML on Lightning Web Component. And now in the component JavaScript file, we need to import the static resource, define a field that concatenate the reference to the static resource with the ID. So therefore, here is my JavaScript code. And the very first step is I will be going to import the static resource. And how do we import the static resource? I'll say SVG underscore logo, SVG underscore logo from @Salesforce slash resource URL slash and name of the file, name of our static resource. So my static resource name is cloud underscore analysis. And now I will be going to embed that. So SVG underscore logo, or I'll just say SVG URL is equals to, I'll just say SVG URL. And also, I will be using this SVG URL anywhere. Let me show you this, whether we'll be using this SVG URL. So I just write here SVG URL is equals to single quotes. Actually, it's not single quotes. We'll be using this icon, dollar, then SVG underscore logo, hash, and the name of our static resource. So my static resource name is cloud analysis. And I paste that name here, give that name SVG URL. That's all we have to do. Okay, that's all we have to do. And now it's will be going to use this. Now, the thing is, how are we going to use this? How are we going to add a reference in our SVG file? So we need to do a customization. So now when I switch back to my LWC component, here is the SVG. So I'm going to replace this code with a new updated code because this code will be following the ID, the static resource one. But instead of that, I will be using a separate code in order to display, because now what we are doing, we will be referring our static resource with this SVG URL. So how are we going to display this? So in order to do this, I simply rewrite a code, and the code is SVG XMLNS. And let me copy paste my code, a ready to use code here with me. So SVG XMLNS is equal to w3.org/SVG and width 300, height 200, and use href is equal to SVG URL. And this SVG URL is this one. So let me save all. And this is SVG LWC CMP1. So I'm going to save all, save, and finally, let's deploy this code, deploy this component, and let's test it. So deployed successfully. And now let me go and check my component. So I'll switch back here and I'm going to refresh this now. So as you can see now, when I refresh my page, when I refresh my home page, where I have displayed the Lightning Web component, I would be able to display the component successfully. So now in this case, here you can see two examples. The first one, we will be embedding the SVG text directly on the HTML. And this is the second method where we embed, basically where we upload as SVG image as a static resource in our Salesforce first, and then we display that SVG component on a Lightning Web component, following from the static resources or importing from the static resources. So that's the way we can add SVG images on our Lightning Web component. So that's all in this tutorial. If you like this, you can post your comment in comment box. If you have any questions or any queries or any requirement, you can post. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye. And yes, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.